Build the system, protect it, show up. How extraordinary things get done by ordinary people on ordinary days. Small actions that lead to massive results. If you took 30 minutes a day to work on something, that's 182 hours per year, right? Consistency beats intensity any day of the week, all the time. But what if 30 minutes a day you stopped scrolling on your phone, right? Doom scrolling through social media, and you did something productive in just that 30 minutes? Do you think you could completely change your life in a year? Well, Sorena's going to prove to you with math that you absolutely can. These videos are a collaboration. Sourena, who has cerebral palsy, develops the written material, and I present it on camera.
When we realize we think we need to big thing, other than to when it is small things. Should I go to my studio? I'm going to do how to build systems.
And I'll tell you how to make small actions lead to massive results. So with Sourena always wanted to be an author, right? And it was more challenging because of the cerebral palsy, but he still wanted to be an author, but he assumed, oh, I've got to write for 8 hours a day, which, first of all, most people can't do, but with a disability like cerebral palsy, it makes it even that much more challenging. So although he always wanted to be an author, he made these assumptions. But here's the thing. He met a screenwriter who said, just get some ideas on paper. So Sourena started writing. Just 1 hour a day for 2 weeks. That was it. And he had a complete draft. 1 hour a day for 2 weeks, and he had a complete draft of his book, right? So he pivoted from autobiography to more to self-help because he wanted to help other people, but the process stayed the same, right? No matter what he was writing, same thing. Hour a day, couple weeks, and all of a sudden he would have a draft ready to go, right? Years later, the average session is now 30 to 45 minutes. Sometimes it's as little as twice a week. But he built the system, and he's very effective at writing now. And the result, by the way, several award-winning books, tons of blog posts, all sorts of articles, tons of writing, and that was just built on consistency, not intensity. As a matter of fact, as I told you that, his intensity dropped, but the consistency has been there, and it's produced some amazing results, and it can do the same thing for you. Sourena talks about something he calls the time illusion. We always think things are much bigger and take much more time than is actually required. And that's something that we have to be aware of because that's an illusion that can hold us back. But back to the math, right? What could 182 hours, that's just 30 minutes a day for 1 year, what could that actually produce, right? Well, in that 182 hours a year, you could write a book, you could create a business plan, you could improve the strength of your relationships, you could improve your parenting with your children, you could have a complete and total physical transformation and making sure your health is dramatically improved, right? Think about that. That 182 hours a year, that's 4 full weeks of work, which is not a lot, right? But progress is often more about intentional decisions than the actual hours invested. It's that whole work smarter, not harder. Sourena also wants to make sure you understand and avoid the all or nothing trap, right? The all or nothing trap is, I'm going to wait for the perfect time for everything to just be right and lined up for me to actually take action. Well, that's a way to never take action at all because as we know, life is never perfect. The situation is never totally ideal for anything, right? So that sort of mindset will kill you quicker than being distracted all the time does. But again, consistency beats intensity always, right? It's not about all or nothing. It's about doing something and doing that something well, no matter how much or how little time you put into it, right? Sourena never went all in on writing. He just showed up 30 to 45 minutes at a time. And it produced incredible results. That body of work of his was built through repetition, not some heroic or ridiculous effort, right? So many people brag about work ethic and how hard they go, but it's seldomly the people that are really successful actually do it that way. They just consistently execute, right? So let go of that all or nothing mindset. Forget about heroic efforts and just focus on small actions consistently. Sourena's 5-step process for consistent progress. Step 1, make it a genuine priority. Not something I'd like to do or maybe want to do or hope to do, right? That's the first step. It's got to be a real, genuine priority, something that is clear, something that you really want. And that's the difference between a wish and a goal, right? A goal gets treated as a priority. It's not just a wish. We make time for anything that we truly prioritize. Think about that. Think about the most important things in your life. the things that you really give your time to, that's what your priorities really are. Not what you say, but where you dedicate your time. And if a goal isn't on your calendar, then it's just a wish, right? You've got to have it scheduled, what you're going to do to accomplish that goal on your calendar. And ask yourself honestly when you think about things you might want to do, is this a goal or is it a wish, right? And if it is a goal, what's the first step I can take today? Step 2, and this is challenging for a lot of people, just know where to begin, right? Getting started is the hardest part, right? I don't know is not a reason to wait. It's a reason to figure out. And that's the first problem you need to solve. Think of what resources can help you figure out where to begin. Maybe it's buying a book or going on AI and asking, or watching a video or going to a conference, watch a tutorial. All those things will help you know where to start, right? Sourena didn't know the process of writing a book, but he found the right people, the right resources that helped teach him the process, and that led to his amazing success when it comes to writing. So if you don't know where to begin, that is your beginning, figuring that out. Step 3, schedule it. What gets scheduled gets done. That's just how things work, right? I mean, as an example, we talk about living a healthy lifestyle, and you say, I'm gonna work out this week, but you don't actually schedule it. Then it's the first thing to go. But what you schedule is what gets done, and no schedule means no action. So you've got to schedule it. Put it in your calendar like any other commitment, right? It may seem silly in certain times, but even if it's that block of writing, because you want to write a book, schedule that. This is my writing time. Nothing's going to interrupt that, right? Again, Sourena talks about, whether it's writing 30 minutes a day or scheduling time where you will exercise during your lunch break, or scheduling those date nights to improve your relationship with your partner or your spouse, or you're working on your finances. It's scheduling time to work with that financial planner. But again, what gets scheduled is what gets done, and what is defined is what started. If you enjoy this content, make sure that you download Sourena's ebook, 5 Keys to an Amazing Mindset, by clicking on the link in the description. And also, please like, comment, and share. Step 4, define the process, right? Once you've got the schedule, then you've got to get very specific about what happens during that scheduled time, right? If it's writing, create these time blocks. If it's writing, where are you going to write? What environment are you going to write? Pen to paper, old school. Are you going to type on your computer? What is your topic? What are you going to write about? Right? You got to get very specific. Same thing when you're defining the process of living a healthier lifestyle. When will I go to the grocery store? What foods will I buy? What will I cook during the week? When will I go to the gym? When I go to the gym, what will I do? The more specific you get, the more defined your process becomes, and the more likely that you accomplish your goals is what happens, right? Ask questions like a toddler. It's always a good thing. You have anybody that's had children or been around children, they're like, why? Take that same approach when you're defining your process, and don't be satisfied until you feel like you've got the right answers. Step 5, do the work. It sounds silly to say, but Sourena has told this to so many audiences. You actually got to do the work. You've scheduled it, you've defined the process, now you got to execute, right? It's not enough to do those first 2 things, even though they are crucial to success. You actually got to do the work, right? Write that business plan. Start the finish the draft of your book. Commit to going to the gym several times a week if you want to improve your health. If you want to improve relationships, write that card and give it to your spouse. All of those things, because planning and scheduling and defining is worthless if you don't take action, right? So it's time to take action. No more deferring. Life will always have competing demands, and time is a commodity. And what you give your time to is what your priorities really are, right? There will always be a reason to put something on hold, to defer doing something till later, or to give up completely. But that doesn't get you to your goals, and that's not the life that you want to live, right? People who build something meaningful are the ones who started 30 minutes a day on a Tuesday when they didn't feel like it. They just committed and they did something. Your goals deserve that level of commitment from you. So what's one goal you've been putting off? What's a goal that if you put 30 minutes a day into it, it would have a positive impact on that goal? Do the math and then decide, where do I start? If you enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, and I'm sure that you did, make sure you like it, share it, and most importantly, subscribe to this channel.